Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Shibil Academy. Today we're going to be taking chapter 9 of Business Studies, Small Business and Entrepreneurship. Introduction. Small-scale industries contribute significantly to national development and acts as a vital link in industrialization in terms of production, employment and exports for economic prosperity by widening entrepreneurial base and use of local raw materials and indigenous skills. It dominates the industrial sector of India with high labor force and tremendous export potential. Village and small industries together make the largest employment opportunities in the country. So basically, small-scale industries are a huge contribution factor to the national development, and it's a vital link to industrialization because it's involved in production, employment, and it gives high-quality exports, and which will allow each state to grow individually. Thing is, one of the two biggest problems in India is unemployment. There's this unemployment epidemic, even with the high rates of people going to the West or to the Gulf in order to find employment. We still find a huge portion of the population back home in India still unable to find any stable means to make a living. And with this, small scale industries, they help people by providing opportunities, job opportunities, employment opportunities to these unemployed people. Not only that, there's the problem of interstate disparities, where some states are more socially, economically, academically more advanced than the others, and while these states progress further, the others begin to worsen. Now, all these can be solved with the help of small-scale industries. Not only does it provide employment, it also helps each region, each rural areas, each region to grow by itself, with its own employment, with its own economy. And when this is all collectively added up, the nation as a whole develops, and each region together collectively adds to the progress of the nation, and the interstate disparity begins to fade, and we get a balanced economic development across the country. Now, small industries are classified into two categories. Two categories are traditional and modern. It's further subdivided into 8 groups. 4 of these are traditional, 2 of these are modern. What modern and traditional means is traditional uses more labor and the old technology, more aged, more the technology that our grandparents used to use, or our parents, or their parents. So these are aged, not as not really up to the times, and will take more time, will take more effort to use, and it's more labor intensive. So that's when we say it's traditional, whereas modern uses more technological assets. Now, traditional are handlooms, handicrafts, coir, sericulture. These 4 are traditional, whereas khadi and village industries, small scale industries, and power looms are modern. Now, types of small businesses. There are many ways to measure a small business. How to measure it? It's in terms of the number of people employed there, the capital invested, the volume and value, the quantity and quality of the output of the business, and the power consumed for business activities. Now, the definition used by the Indian government is based on the investment on plants and machinery. So they measure these industries based on how much they invest in plants and machinery. And this measure keeps in view the socio-economic environment in India, where capital is scarce and labor is abundant. Basically, what this means is the capital is really scarce in India. Capital is too little, whereas labor is too much, because there's so many people unemployed, the population is so vast that so many people are there that there's a huge workforce potential that is not being used. And not only that, there's a lack of technological assets to help these people, unemployed people, fill these positions. So what small scale industries does by not using much capital and more labor is help provide more employment opportunities to these people while using less capital, which helps the problem when capital is too little and labor is too much. The increase in service sector compelled the government to include other enterprises covering both small-scale industries, SSI sector, and related service entities under the same initiative. So the 3 sectors, right? We studied there's tertiary. First it's primary, secondary, tertiary. So before agriculture used to be the main thing, primary, and slowly we've seen the shift from primary being the highest to tertiary taking over its place. Now, tertiary service sector is the biggest, and once this shift happened, it somewhat compelled the government to include other enterprises like small scale industries and related